There's just something about a big gift. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Dad. Contrary to what you might have told your children, contrary to what my parents told me and all the logic that they used and how sound and reasonable it was, that in a small container could be something very expensive and exciting, there's just something about a big gift. There's just something about looking under the tree and seeing a great big present with your name on it. In fact, it's so big that it doesn't fit under the tree. It's got to be beside it, and you think, that's mine. And you sit there and you look at it and you can't wait to open it, and what could it be and what's in there. And as much as they might say, well, no, this little small thing, this could be, no, that big present, that's what I want. If I've got a little one with my name on it under the tree and my brother's got a big one all Christmas season, I'm thinking, oh man, I just want that big present. That's not fair. I don't even know what's in it yet. But there's something about a big gift. This present here is the good life. This is everything that you've been looking for and searching for. This is what you've been striving for. This is what you've been trying to obtain and trying to have in your life. This is the good life. Really, this is everything that the Apostle Paul in the book of Galatians writes when he says, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. If we're honest with ourselves, everybody wants more of that. I mean, I don't think I've ever met someone that didn't want more love or more joy or more peace. I don't think I've ever met someone that said, I've got enough of that. I've got plenty of that. I kind of want more of something else. Chaos sounds good. Anxiety sounds good. We want more of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. That's really the good life. There are certain things that we want that maybe aren't good for us. There are certain things that we want that maybe aren't good for others. Okay, that's why we have laws. When you're a kid, you want every piece of candy you lay your eye on. That's not right. That's called stealing, right? You can't just grab it and have it be yours. There's the laws against that. But against things like love and joy and peace, there are no laws, because from the smallest of us to the oldest of us, we all want more of that. We try to get it in different ways. We try to get what's in here through different means and by taking different paths. Some of us think that we can have more love and more joy and more peace if we are more successful. That if people will look up to us, if we have more influence and more success, if we get that promotion, if we can advance at work, if I can put in more time and more energy into what I do, and then everyone will look at me and I'll be successful, and I'll finally have more joy and peace and love, and I'll finally have the good life. Some of us try to get to the good life through romance. That if I had a new boyfriend or a new girlfriend, if I had a new husband or a new wife, if I had a better one, the reason I don't have more love, joy, and peace is because of the spouse I have. Or if I were to get one, I'm not married, but if I could get married, then I would be happy. Then I would have the good life. Some of us try to get to it through our families. We're not really that happy right now, and I don't have that much joy and peace and love right now, but you know what? Let's have a kid. That'll fix it. That'll help. We can get this family. Well, that didn't really work, but maybe that's just like half the equation. Maybe we need 2 kids. Maybe we need another kid. Maybe we need another kid. Maybe then I'll be happy. Maybe I'll get it then. And ultimately, we take all these different ways, we take all these different paths, we try to get there through all these different options, but we're all trying to get to the same spot. We're all trying to get the same thing. I want the good life. I want to look around my life and say, it's full of joy. It's full of peace. It's full of love. We all want to get rid of the opposite of that. We all are trying to get away from things like anxiety and fear. We're all trying to get away from things like loneliness. We wish we had more of what's in here. And it's an odd thing, it's a weird thing that so many of us are looking for this, and yet so few of us seem to find it. It seems like so many of us are looking, and we keep looking, and we keep looking, and we die looking and never finding. It's a strange thing, but it's true, and it's true. We all know it's true that we can have everything and still be missing the one thing that we really want. It's possible in this weird upside-down world to have everything and still be missing the one thing we really want. To have everything and not be happy. To have everything and not have joy or peace or love. You know that's true. You know that's true because you know of people like that. There are neighbors that you have. There are people that you work with. There are people that you see at school or at your job, or family members that you have, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews that you know. They've got everything. They've got everything. They have the job. They have the family. They've got everything, and yet you know, because you know them, they're not happy. Maybe you know that this is true, not because you've seen it in others, but because you've seen it in yourself. Everyone else is in that position. Everyone else looks up to you and says, she's got a great job. She's got a great husband. She's got a great life. She's got a great family. She's got it all. But you know that you're not happy. Everyone thinks that you've got everything, but you know this is true because it is you. I have everything, and yet I don't have the one thing that I really, really want. We all try to get it, but yet we just can't seem to get there. You know, there is a way to get this. There is a way to get what's in here. There is someone who wants to give it to you, and this is not going to be surprising since it's Sunday morning and we're at church. It's Jesus, okay? If you thought this was going a different direction, you're in the wrong place. But there is someone who can give you the good life of what's in here, and it's Jesus. That Jesus wants for you the best life that you can possibly imagine. And this is one of the things that we're going to talk about this morning, is getting this kind of realigned, getting us to kind of relearn something. Because for so long, I think for many of us, and maybe it's because our culture portrays it this way, maybe somebody in the church portrayed the Jesus life this way to you. But I think for a long time, we've had this idea that Jesus wants me to have a correct life, but a boring life. That Jesus wants me to live rightly, but that's a very boring way to live. That the kind of life that Jesus wants for me is not going to be a life that's found in a great big box, a great big present. It's more of like the bland, nutritional food. Like, here you go. This is going to be good for you, but no one's going to like it. That is absolutely not true. Jesus wants for you the best life possible. In fact, that's exactly what he says. In John chapter 10, in the second half of verse 10, it says this: I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Jesus said, I came so that you might have life, not boring life, not average life, not mundane life, not plain or bland. I came that you might have life and have it to the full. In fact, the word that he uses there for full, it's such a neat word. It's perissos in Greek. And the definition of this is pertaining to a quantity so abundant as to be considerably more than what one would expect or anticipate. That's the kind of life that Jesus wants for you. When he said, I came that you might have life and have it to the full, he said, I came that you might have a life that is considerably more than you would have ever anticipated. It's considerably more than you would have ever thought possible. It's considerably more than what you would have expected. That's the kind of life that Jesus came to give you. You can imagine holding a cup out and Jesus is pouring water into it, the water of life, and it's getting more and more full, and the cup's getting heavier in your hand, and as it's filling up, it's getting close, and you think it's getting ready to, it's about to, yeah, it's spilling, Jesus, and he just keeps pouring, and it's running down the cup, and it's running down your hand, and it's on the floor, but he just keeps going because it's more than you would have expected. It's more than you thought you had capacity for. The life that Jesus came to give us is not boring. It is the good life. It is a life that is more than you would have thought or imagined. Now, here's the dilemma. Here's the weird thing. Jesus, he's the guy who walks on water. He's the guy who heals people when he touches them. He's the guy who takes a couple slices of bread and feeds 5,000 people. So if Jesus wants this life for us, why don't more of us have it? I mean, Jesus can do anything. Jesus is the guy who did all the incredible things. It was storming out. I mean, an absolute typhoon, and Jesus stands up and says, "Quiet down," and the storm stops. And Jesus wants me to have this good life, and yet I don't have it. I don't understand. Why is that? If that's the guy who wants this good life for me, why don't more of us have this? We're gonna be in John chapter 10 this morning. John chapter 10. If you've got Bibles or Bible apps or something you want to follow along, that's where we're going to be in John chapter 10 and verse 7. And here we're going to find that this is what Jesus wants for you, but it's not something he's ever going to force on you. Jesus is never going to force this on you. He's going to offer it to you. And the reason that more of us don't have this is because there are other people offering us a different alternative. Jesus wants the good life for you, but he's not the only one who wants something for you. We're going to be in John chapter 10. Here in John chapter 10, Jesus has been teaching. He's been out teaching a bunch of people. And the way Jesus liked to teach, he didn't like to use a lot of theoretical mumbo jumbo. He liked to use a lot of real life, application examples. And so he's been talking about sheeps. I knew I was going to do it. He's been talking about sheep and shepherds, okay? Sheep and shepherds, something they're very familiar with. We may not be as familiar with that. Maybe you have sheep. Maybe you grew up with sheep. Most of us probably weren't sheep raisers, shepherds when we were growing up. But that was very common, in that part of the world. So Jesus is using a very common illustration. He's talking about sheep and shepherds, and he's saying, you guys are sheep, and I'm a shepherd. I'm the good shepherd. And all that goes into that, all the nurturing, the care, the protection, the guidance, all that imagery implies Jesus is attaching it to himself. And then as he's teaching, we get to verse 7, and this is what it says. It says, therefore, Jesus said again, very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. Now, most of us, he just talked about being the shepherd. So most of us are like, Jesus, are you the shepherd or the gate? I'm not sure. Which one is it here, okay? Are you the shepherd or the gate? Now, of course, Jesus can be like, well, I'm both. You just got to deal with that. But one of the things that we need to understand is in the ancient world, shepherds didn't have like a farm that they hung out on. They were nomadic. They would travel around with their flocks going from pasture to pasture, and then they would bring them into town when it was time to shear them or sell them or whatever, but they would travel around with the flock most of the time. And while they're traveling around, the shepherds had built a system of pens that you could put your sheep in at night that everybody shared and everybody used. They'd be just out in the desert, out in the wilderness, against a cliff usually. There'd be a couple sides to it and a little opening, and shepherds could leave their sheep there. Now, most of these pens, because they're just rocks and bramble kind of thrown together, don't have a gate. So what most shepherds would do at night is they would sleep where the gate would be. And so they would actually be the gate to the sheep pen. Jesus says, I am the gate. If you want to get in, if you want to go out, if you want to get to this, you have to go through me. I am the gate. Verse 8, Jesus goes on. He says, all who have come before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep have not listened to them. If you get into the pen, not going through the gate, not going through the shepherd, not without his permission, you are not there to do anything productive. You are not there to do anything productive. The shepherd lays down at night. He's going to be the gate. And if someone else comes in and he's not aware of it, you are not there to do anything except steal and kill and destroy. You're not there to do anything productive. Jesus says if someone comes to you and they didn't go through me, they're not there for your best interest. If something is presented to you and it doesn't have anything to do with me, it's not there for your best interest. In fact, there's a specific referent for this. In Jesus' day, Jesus was, as he went around teaching and living, he was very much presenting himself as the Messiah. The Messiah was a person in the Jewish scriptures who had been prophesied, this person's going to come and deliver us and bring in God's kingdom. And Jesus said, hey guys, that's me. But Jesus wasn't the only person to say that. In fact, there were a lot of people going around saying, hey, I'm the Messiah. And what these people would say is, hey, I'm here. God sent me to deliver everyone from Rome. That's what we need deliverance from. That's really the big problem. Rome is in charge. Rome rules us right now. So what we need to do is we need to go to war with Rome. Of course, we'll win because God's on our side. And then we'll have the good life after that. Other people came and said, I can get you to the good life. I'm the Messiah. I can get you where you want to go. But we got to go to war first, and then you'll have the good life. Jesus came and said, no, I can get you where you want to go. I can get you the good life, and it has nothing at all to do with war. That there were other people who were coming, and they were presenting an alternative. Here's the way. I can take you where you want to go. But it had nothing to do with Jesus. And Jesus' warning is that they will tell you, they will lie to you and say, I will take you where you want to go, and the place you end up will be the place furthest from where you ever wanted to be. I am the gate. Anyone else who comes in and says, here, I can give you the good life. I can take you. They're not interested in anything that's going to be good for you. Verse 9, Jesus says this. He says, I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Jesus wants to give you overflowing, abundant, unbelievably more, considerably more than what you ever thought. That's the kind of life that Jesus wants to give you. But the reason that more of us don't have it, this is the guy who walks on water. This is the guy who, when he says, be quiet, storms, go away. This is that guy. The reason that more of us don't have the life he wants to give us is because he doesn't force it on us. He offers it to us. He says, here you go. But there are other people offering us an alternative. And they're really good, too. They're the people who want to offer us an alternative, the thieves who want to take away this good life, the people who say, no, don't listen to Jesus. Don't listen to Jesus. Don't do that. Those people who want to lead us out, who want to take us and offer us an alternative to the good life, and it always leads to a place we don't want to go. Those people are really good at what they do, okay? The thief is really good at what he does. The thief doesn't get into the sheep pen with a sword and he's sharpening it and saying, hey, sheep, hey, buddy, come over here and we'll have a good time. That's not what they do. In fact, the best way to keep you from the life you want is to distract you. The best way to keep you from this, the overflowing, the abundant, the good life, the life that's full of joy and love and peace, the best way to keep you from this life is not to come in and attack you. It's not to take away your stuff. It's not to hurt you. It's not to harm you. In fact, it's just the opposite. The best way to keep you from that present is to give you this present. Now this present isn't nearly as good as that present. This present won't satisfy you like that one will. This gift won't do what that one does. This present doesn't have the same capacity for satisfaction. This gift will be fun for a little bit, but it'll disappoint you. This new thing, this new gadget, this new gizmo, this new car, this new place, this new outfit, this new diet, it will be good for a little bit, but eventually it won't satisfy you. And just like all the toys you got when you were a child, and just like all the toys that you got for your children, it will be played with for a little while, and then it will be set aside. This gift is something that you will always compare with other people who also got similar gifts, and you will always find yourself short. You got version 5, and isn't it so cool, and you're showing it off, and someone whips out theirs, and they say, I got version 6. And suddenly, yours isn't good anymore. This gift will be something that you will think will bring you popularity. It will bring you influence. It will bring you friends. You'll show it off at work. You'll show it off with your family and your neighbors at school, and you'll say, look what I've got, and people will say, that's really neat, and then they'll treat you like they always treated you before, and you won't get the approval that you thought you should. This gift isn't anywhere near as good as that gift. The problem is, though, is that Jesus stands up here and says, I want to give you this. And just when you're about ready to get up out of your chair, the thief comes and he puts this in your hand. And because we're lazy and because this is right here in my hand and I don't have to get up and do it, we take this gift. And we open it, and it's easy to open, and it's convenient, and it fits in my pocket, and everything about this gift is easy. It's tangible, it's tactile, I can touch it, I can feel it, it's right in front of me. There's no discipline required for this. I don't have to move at all. It's put right in my hand, and just when I'm done with it, just when I think, okay, you know what, this really didn't satisfy, this didn't work. Just when I get to the point where I realize this isn't going to give me happiness, and I set it aside, and I'm about to come back up here, the thief comes, and he puts another one in our hands. And just when we're done with that, he comes and he puts another one in our hands. You see, the best way to steal this from you is not to hurt you or to take your stuff. The best way to steal what Jesus wants to give you is to distract you. Is to keep giving you lesser things. And you know, this gift is never given to you as here's a fun thing to do in your free time. That's never the way this gift is given to you. Just like in Jesus' day, the other messiahs, the pretend messiahs would come and say, hey, God sent me. We need to go to war with Rome, and then we'll have the good life. Then we'll go where we want to go. We'll have Jesus' kingdom. We'll have everything we want. We'll be happy. On the other side of the war, if you just follow me, we'll be happy. I can get you to the good life. Ultimately, the Jewish leaders decided to side with those people, and they went to war with Rome. And in 70 AD, Rome came and destroyed the city of Jerusalem. That they said, hey, if we go to war, we'll win and we'll have the good life. And they did, and they ended up being destroyed Now, maybe in a slightly less dramatic fashion, that's exactly what our culture does today. Is to keep you, to steal this gift from you. They give you little things, and it's never given to you as, here's a fun thing to do in your free time. It's always, this will make you happy. This new diet will make you happy. You know, you'd just be happy if you were thinner, if you were prettier. You would just be happy then, and this will make you happy. Not here's a nice thing to do for your personal health. No, this will change your life. This will save you. If you get this the next generation of this, or the newest thing of that, or a better car, or bigger house, or better job, or if your family was better, if you had a better spouse, whatever it is, it's always presented as, this is what will finally make you happy. And instead of ending the insanity that is doing the same action over and over again, expecting different results, instead of ending that, we take our gift and we say, this will finally make me happy. And we do it and it doesn't make us happy, and we put it aside. And instead of coming up and taking what Jesus wants to give us, we say, can I have my next one now? And we take another gift. And we sit out there and we keep just going through one gift after another, one distraction after another, one unfulfilled promise after another. I don't know what the distractions in your life look like, but all that this is here to do is to keep this away from you. Here's the bottom line today, guys. This gift is always here. This gift is always here. It will always be here. There's never going to be a time where Jesus said, all right, you've had enough time. You know what? I'm taking this away. I'm out. You know, you should have known by now. I'm leaving. That's never going to be the case. This gift is always here, day and night. It's ready for you. The problem is that most of us keep it all wrapped up. Even those of us who love Jesus. You might be here this morning visiting. Maybe mom and dad dragged you here. Maybe grandma and grandpa dragged you here. Maybe someone said, I'll buy you lunch if you come. Kudos to them. Thank you for being here. And I want to say that maybe you've been on that cycle of trying to find what's good and what's going to make me happy, and you just can't seem to find it. Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe this guy, Jesus, actually does have that. I think that that's true, but here's the deal. Even those of you here today who love Jesus, who come to church regularly, who are, I'm all about Jesus, I'm a Christian, I'm a follower, you may be sitting there not having the good life either. And it's because as much as you love Jesus, you've been too distracted to unwrap the gift. As much as you love Jesus, and I love Jesus, and I'm all about church, and I like that, and I enjoy that, and yes, I'm a Christian, yes, I'm a believer, but I've just been too distracted, and you've left the gift all wrapped up. For the next few weeks, we're going to talk about what unwrapping this gift looks like. We're going to talk about the hope, the love, the peace, and the joy that comes from Jesus. In a world that we've got going on today, I can't think of things that we should focus on more. How much better would our world be if there was more hope? How much better would it be if there was more love, if there was more peace, if there was more joy? Not just in our world, but man, in our lives, how much better would our lives be if we could just increase those things? We're going to spend the next few weeks talking about what happens when you unwrap Jesus. But before we ever get to that, we've got to put down the distractions. We've got to put down the distractions. We've got to learn how to say no to the urgent and yes to the important. We got to learn how to realize when, hey, this is nice, this is fun, but this will not make me happy. This is good, this is great to be involved in, this will not make me happy. Only what's in here will. Only what's in here will. If we want to get to a point where we can start talking about how to increase our love and our joy and our peace, how to get rid of fear, how to get rid of anxiety, how to have a better life, how to be happy and content, how to have the good life, if we want to get there, we've got to first put down the distraction so we can actually begin to unwrap Jesus. I hope you'll join us over the next few weeks. I hope you'll join us over the next few weeks. But I hope that we can start today by putting down the distractions. Does that mean we need to all go be a monk somewhere? Is that what putting down the distractions means? No. But it does mean realizing that those things will not make you happy. They cannot give you more joy and more love and more peace. Those things cannot give you hope. But as long as we keep them in our hand, as long as we keep cycling through them, as long as we keep treating them as if they're going to lead us to the good life, we will never actually get here. Put down the distraction. Come to Jesus, because only he can give you what you want. Let's pray. God, we love you. God, just pray for us right here, right now, today. I just pray that we can see the difference between something that is fun and good and enjoyable and should be a part of our lives and what will actually give us contentment and peace and joy, what will actually deliver to us an abundant life. That God, the things of this world, the things that our culture puts forward, the things we see on advertisements, the things that the thief constantly wants to put in our hands, that while those things might be fine, they cannot give us what we want most. That we can have everything and yet still not have the one thing we truly want. God, I pray that for that one thing, we turn to you. Help us to focus on you. Help us to remember that you are the door, that we cannot get to that life except through you. That it is only in you that we can find it. That we won't be happy, that we won't be content because this many people came to our event or to our party, or because I have this influence or this career or this family or this new gadget or this new gizmo or a bigger house or a better job, or because I'm prettier. That none of those things will do what we want them to do. That Jesus, only you can give us that. I pray that we're able to put down the distractions and to unwrap you this season. God, we love you and we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.